Oh hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to do this just a little bit differently than how we normally do, and that's just because, I don't know, I wanted to do it a little bit differently than how we normally do. So today's entire video is Q&A. Now, some of these questions come from you guys who have left comments on the video. Some of you, on the previous video, some of you guys sent me an email, and if you're not subscribed to my newsletter, go subscribe to my newsletter. You can do that right here, and you'll even get an idea of like what your archetype should be. And then some of you guys ask questions on Twitter, which, why are you not following me on Twitter? You can do that here. But yeah, let's sit back and relax and enjoy the sweet dulcet tones of my voice as I answer your most desperate, actually none of these are desperate, as I answer your most interesting questions about style. So let's dive into this. All right, first question from YouTube is from a gentleman named Mike, and he says, Tanner, I'm a 19-year-old student who is fanatical about style and the menswear scene as a whole. I began this journey about a year ago, and I'm continuing to gain more knowledge about fitting and materials and those sorts of things. I also lend a hand to my friends whenever blah, 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 blah. What would you say is the biggest challenge in starting an image consulting business like Masculine Style? So, Mike, this is one of those things that there's a lot of potential pitfalls and a lot of potential things that can come up, but the big thing is being able to separate yourself, because you've got big guys on YouTube, you've got big forums, and when you're trying to sell information or you're trying to like actually run a business where you are helping men out through coaching or through some sort of information as opposed to selling a digital product, the best thing to do is, one, know who your audience is, two, know what their problem is, and then three, know how you can solve that problem, and then four, help them understand how you can help them solve that problem. And basically it's just kind of that. And so image consulting, especially for men, is really kind of a difficult thing to get in because most guys just don't want to admit that this is something that they should or do or even, you know, think about, let alone care about. So I would say just get a lot of reps under your belt, help out as many friends as you can, and then just start going forward and try and make it happen from there. Okay, next one is from a gentleman named Style. I don't know why I say, you guys know I hate the term gentleman. Next one is from a man named Styled Men. And he says, everybody on YouTube says that if you put on your jacket or suit, you will instantly feel more confident. This is my question for you. So why when I dress up and I love suits, dress shirt, dress shoes, and everybody around me wears a printed t-shirt, cargo shorts, I can't feel confident? I feel as if I'm the one who is wrong and the other guys with cargo shorts and printed t-shirt are doing right. Thank you for this question. This question just again continues to bring up the idea that context is king, and that a suit or a jacket or dressing in some way that's formal or some way that's more traditional is not this panacea that is going to cure everything that ails you. Like it's not, for so many guys, whether it's on YouTube or anywhere else that talk about style, they become hammers, and the suit is a hammer, and when that's the only tool that you have in your toolkit, every problem starts to look like a nail. And so if you were at a barbecue or you were in an environment where you have confident, charismatic other men who are around you who are doing well socially and they're doing well in their lives, and they're wearing t-shirts and cargo shorts, and you show up in a suit, you look like an idiot, and that's why your confidence isn't there. Now yes, you can dress in ways that are not cargo shorts and t-shirts that help you stand out positively from those other men, but the distinction of like the super casual and the not that concerned with style versus you being all the way over here, there's just too much contrast between those two worlds, and you become the outlier. And unless you have a ton of confidence or you're super high status where all these other guys are already looking to you as the one who kind of sets the terms of the relationship, then it doesn't matter. You're hurt by that. By being the outlier, you become an outlier in the negative as opposed to in the positive. So I hope that helps. Okay, next question is from a guy named Kagan, and he kind of goes through a little bit and talks about how he's got a friend who has expressed some interest, and so he pointed him in the direction towards a few different sites, and then he came back later, like a week later, fast forward to around a week ago in the conversation, he tells me that he's comfortable with how he dresses, aka the clothes he wears stayed the same. I'm happy to know this, as I think that it's great for one to feel comfortable with the way that they dress, but I was also confused as to why he didn't buy any new threads or seek more advice. I've gone through similar situations before with a couple of other friends, a brother. What are the things that you think are deterring many men from taking steps to improving their style? The trials that go with it, lack of knowledge, or simply not knowing where to start? There's two things. First one is, basically it's fear. And not like fear like, oh, I'm gonna crap my pants, or oh, the world is gonna end fear, but it's a social fear. And it's this idea that if we start to improve ourselves, then one, we're actually gonna have to like live up to what it is that we're projecting to the rest of the world, and then two, people are going to see us, and therefore most likely they're gonna treat us differently. And then 2, you couple that fear with this kind of identity of, in order to be a man, you should not care about your style, which is still the predominant attitude within the West. And thankfully that's changing. That's changing even more with like millennials and Gen Z, but it's still the predominant attitude. And so you get this kind of positive association with I shouldn't care, and this negative association of, oh, what happens if I do start to care? And so for most guys, unless they can actually really see a benefit, those two negatives outweigh almost anything, which is why so many guys actually start to care when they're about to get married, or they're getting ready to go to college, or they get a promotion or they start a new job and so the dress code changes, or they go through a divorce, or you go through some big change in your life that requires you to actually care, because otherwise most men are just going to be like passively interested in it, and then as soon as they butt up to any real resistance, then it becomes a problem. Okay, Nadari said, hi Tanner, I've recently watched your video, Why I'm Not a Gentleman. You can go see that here. And it got me thinking, damn, I'm a slave. So I wanted to ask you where to start developing myself as a man. I know this might not be a topic for a single video, but still, do you have any advice on how to become a man? I don't have anything new for this. I would recommend that you go read The Way of Men by Jack Donovan. I would recommend that you go read the excellent series and long form articles on the art of manliness. I would recommend that you subscribe to the Order of Man podcast. And I would recommend that you start pushing yourself to do hard things, because men, we do things that are difficult rather than kind of being addicted to comfort. And so start taking advantage of some of those resources and recognize that there is a difference between being good at being a man or being a good man, and masculinity is amoral, and obviously you want to combine the two of them, but you cannot think that just because you're being a good person that means that you are good at being a man or you are masculine. So kind of separate those two things and then focus on bringing both of them up individually, or at least in conjunction, rather than thinking that all you have to do is be a good person, therefore you become a good man. So start there. Okay, an email from Jonathan. He says, thanks for providing awesome content. You're welcome. You're a deep thinker. Thank you. My question is, I'm in my 20s. How can I look more persuasive? The answer is, it depends, which I know is a frustrating answer, but it really depends, because what you need to do is understand how persuasion is communicated within the group that you're trying to persuade. Because again, taking this idea of suiting, if you go to like a blue collar pub on a Wednesday night and you show up in a suit, like, you're not going to be as persuasive as you could be unless you're trying to like separate yourself from this group of people, as if you were wearing and dressing the way that they do. And that's why, okay, you take like the idea of con men. Basically, if you want to dress more persuasively, just watch what con men do, but do it morally. But I mean, you take what con men do and they will dress up as police or as paramedics or as bankers or as anything else. They will dress in a way that takes advantage of and capitalizes on our natural inclination to want to believe and understand certain people. So I would say whatever the group is that in which you're trying to be more persuasive, understand the way that the authority figures within that group dress, and then dress accordingly, because by communicating that you are an authority figure, at least subconsciously or subtly through your clothing, you therefore can be more persuasive. Again, totally amoral. You can do that for good or for bad purposes, but that's what I would recommend you do, is figure out the way that these people that you want to persuade, who their authority figures are, and then dress accordingly. Okay, this is one that's a little bit more, I guess, specific and tactical. This is from Justin, and he says, I did what you suggested and bought a pair of suede chukka boots and a pair of leather lace-up boots. I'm realizing that to make the lace-up boots look good, getting the pant legs right seems important, but I'm not sure how to get there. Should they be tapered, hemmed, cuffed, etc.? Okay, if you fit within the refined or the rugged archetype, then you want something that is on like the slim or like the straight slim realm. You don't want anything that's necessarily baggy, but you don't want to go hyper skinny. You want them to be slim enough that they will fit over the boots, but then short enough that they don't really break, or maybe they break just a little bit against the top of the boots. Now, if you fit into the rakish category, then you've got a lot of options in there. You can do something that's super slim and you can like tuck them into your boots. You can do something that's super slim and long and you can have them kind of like stack up. The brakes stack up a bunch of time against the boots. You can still get away with what the rugged and the refined guys do. So it depends on where you fit within the archetype, but just know that the cleaner the look, then the more refined it's going to be. the less it kind of is distracting, then the more it's going to work within that rugged archetype. And then if you're rakish, then you can play around with that and have some fun kind of breaking those conventions. Okay, so Chris asked a good one. He says, I'm 6'8" and weigh 250 pounds and I stand out everywhere. How do I create a style that is unique and stands out but is not ostentatious? I find this to be very difficult and I am very much a beginner in the style world. I'm glad that you asked this because this is something that I've experienced myself. This is something I've seen with hundreds of different clients while I was with Beckett and Rob. I see this with my own coaching clients as we go through the process. My experience has been, and what you will see is that beginners, when it comes to the world of style and it comes to this idea of dressing better, dressing more intentionally, they'll focus on two things. One is brighter colors and two is bolder patterns. And you can see this everywhere. You can see this, for example, go look at the footage of like StyleCon or the Menfluential Meetup, or go look at some of the Instagram accounts that people follow, and you will see these guys who will think that I've got to wear like a purple check jacket, and then I have like a purple striped tie with a pink polka dotted pocket square, and I've got like this fuchsia shirt on, and they just think that in order to dress stylishly, in order to not be bland or boring, that somehow you have to have a ton of different colors and you have to mix and match a ton of different patterns. But the experts, the guys who are really in this for the long haul, the guys who really, really look good, they may embrace those every once in a while, but their foundation is a focus on fit, and it's a focus on texture. So you can see men who will wear very simple navy or gray suits, but they will stand out positively, not ostentatiously, in a crowd of men who are wearing navy and gray suits, but the average guy's suit looks stupid on him. It looks sloppy, it looks ill cared for, it just doesn't look very good. But the guy who has it and it fits, and maybe it's an interesting texture like it's a flannel in the fall or the winter, or it's a linen in the spring and the summer, something to that effect, then in a lot of ways, in every way, he stands out, but he doesn't stand out in this like painfully screaming for your attention kind of way, but it's in a subtle way, and a lot of times other people won't necessarily be able to quantify it. They won't be able to say, well, that flannel suit's so much better than this guy's polyester one, because most people can't recognize that. But again, they will be able to see and notice a difference. And so yes, you stand out, but you do it subtly, as oxymoronic as that can sound. Okay, Nathan asked me, what's my opinion on men's luxury watches? Any brands I personally identify with? Do I ever plan on purchasing one myself? I don't know yet. I know that I really like the Breitling Navitimer, which is kind of weird because most of the stuff that I like to wear is actually very similar, and that is simple, and that is an incredibly busy watch. There's a lot going on with it, but at the same time, I'm kind of liking the functionality of a smartwatch, and so I don't know which route I'm going to end up taking. I do know that eventually I'm going to stop wearing like the cheap Daniel Wellingtons, and if you run a watch brand, please just don't reach out to me unless you're actually like a luxury watch brand. Honestly, I kid you not, like a dozen emails a day from different watch brands wanting me to rep their stuff. And anyway, I'm still debating about whether or not I'm gonna, save up and do a nice high-end watch, or if I'm just gonna do an Apple Watch. Maybe I'll get to the point where I use both and I just have like a really nice dress watch and I use that on the right occasions, then I do an Apple Watch for something else. I haven't decided yet, so I don't know. Okay, and then we're gonna make this the last one, and honestly, we're gonna make this the last one because I don't know the answer to that, which this is awesome. And yeah, I feel bad because, dude, I should know how to pronounce your name. I mean, we interact together all the time on the channel. You leave comments on like every video. We've spoken to each other at StyleCon. So I'm sorry that I don't remember how to pronounce your name. Highway, Huey, anyway, just correct me and tell me how to pronounce it so that I can remember this from now on. But he asks, tell me, why is it considered a no-no and frowned upon when someone wears a deep V-neck t-shirt showing man cleavage? But I see men all over Instagram, etc., who wear button-down shirts with their jacket having 3 or 4 buttons undone, which also shows man cleavage. What a contradiction. And I don't think even you can explain this contradiction, and you're right. I don't know why. There is a couple theories on there which I think is really good, but for me, I think the reality of it is that by having a really deep V on a t-shirt, one, it looks way too much like it's an undershirt. There's kind of that association with it. And two, just that silhouette and kind of that over accentuation of cleavage is something that we see as effeminate, whereas when you have a collar, then what that does is it transitions like the head and the neck and everything else and brings that down deeper and further. But I'm not sure. I love that you stumped me with that question. So that's what I want to leave you guys with as far as the questions that you should be answering is, why can you not wear a deep V-neck t-shirt, but having a few buttons undone on a button-up shirt works? So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that I was able to answer more of your questions. If I didn't, then leave them below and we can continue to have a good discussion on them. Or if you want to dive even deeper and get along with the community, you can check out my Facebook group, which I've started up here. And yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more videos like this in the future. By the way, we just passed 20,000 subscribers on the channel, so thank you for all of you men who are subscribed on here, and the like 6 women, hi mom, hi my wife, who are subscribed on here. But yeah, thank you to all you guys who are here, and I will talk to you guys on the next video.